Hey y'all! So I haven't made a video in a minute, but now that I'm here in Tennessee, I've made my long journey here. I'm starting a video series called Tennessee Dreaming. And so it's just going to be all things Tennessee, and that includes how to move here, what's around here, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fun, the not fun, whatever. So let's just get right into it, okay? These 5 steps are going to get you closer to buying your dream home in Tennessee. All right, the first one is work. Obviously, when you're moving to another state, you're going to have to figure out where you're going to work. So, are you going to be transferring from the same company to a different location? Are you going to have to leave that company, or you have to start from scratch and find a new job altogether? Do you own your own business? Are you going to have to transfer your business? So, those are obviously the most important things you're going to have to figure out, depending on whichever one is you. So my family, I work remote. My husband works in construction, so he works for a union. So what he did was he found out that his union has a place here in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's how we kind of decided where we wanted to end up. So work was one of the first things to figure out. So he did have to go and make phone calls and figure out, if he was able to transfer here and how that would all work. So that's what we did. Now, for let's say someone like my cousin, she works for a local grocery store in Southern California. She's worked there for probably like 15 years. And so for someone like her who wanted to move out here, what she would need to do would be to call maybe one of the local grocers up here, one of the bigger stores, maybe like Publix, and call and say, hey, I've worked for this grocery store for 15 years. I want to relocate my family. I was wondering if you guys were hiring. Do you have any positions open? If not you, do you know someone who does? And so that right there, if they say yes, we are hiring, send us your application. So all she'd have to do is just go ahead, send them an application, or do like a Zoom interview over the phone or whatever. Then that right there is her golden ticket. Now, if they want to offer her a job, she now has employment here in Tennessee, and now she can start one step closer to getting her dream home, because now she's already got a job lined up, ready to go. And they will provide your lender with a offer letter saying that we're going to be hiring her for this many hours at this much money a month and blah blah blah. That's all they need. That's literally all they need, and you can go. So that's the first one. So the second one is networking. Networking is so important. It's literally the most important thing besides work, because when you move to a place that you've never been, you have to know if you're going to like it there. You're going to have to know what kind of people are there, what kind of shopping is there, what are the grocery stores like, what is the traffic like, what's the weather like, what kind of environment is it for your dogs or for your garden or whatever it is that you want to do. There's a lot of research. So this is all stuff you can do on Google, or you can just ask people who actually live here. Now, if you're a person like me, I found a wonderful church here in Mount Juliet, Global Vision Bible Church, and I joined their online community on Facebook. And so that was a great thing for me to be able to reach out to other people who live here in the area, tell them who I am, why I'm moving here, and just plug in. So if you go to church, I highly recommend, that's probably the most important thing you can do before you even move, is to find a church. Go online, do your research, get plugged in, and figure that out, because right there, church is your community. That's going to be your bread and butter for, having people who know things about the area that can warn you about certain things or suggest certain things to help save you time on, whatever. So it's so important to get plugged into a church if you go to church. If you don't go to church, another great thing for you to do would be to join some Facebook groups. Find similar topics, like maybe Huskies. Like I'm in a lot of Husky groups on Facebook. And so there's a Husky group in Tennessee. And so that's another way that you can network. Or, a baker's group in Tennessee, or a gardener's group in Tennessee. There's a lot of really interesting groups you can find on Facebook, and it's a great way to meet people who have things in common with you, and that you can kind of make some acquaintances in Tennessee before you even get there. That's literally what I did. And I will tell you right now, it's so helpful by able to do that. We've had people, a lovely couple that took Zach into their home and let him stay there for a couple weeks while we were in this like middle wishy-washy situation with our moving, but he was able to stay with them because they offered for him to stay there instead of having to stay in a hotel. And if he hadn't been friends with them, we haven't known them from our church here, then he would have been living in a hotel for a month. So, I mean, it just goes to show you that just reaching out, networking with people, introducing yourself, you'll be surprised, especially in the South, in Tennessee, where they say it's, you know, Southern hospitality. People are very welcoming here, especially if you're not trying to change their way of life. Don't do that. They don't like that. Okay, the third thing that you need to do to get closer to your dream home in Tennessee is to make sure your credit score is good. Okay? Now, I know communist credit scores, you know, you have to have a good credit score in order to buy something. That's just how it is these days, you know? So, a lot of people have credit problems, and that's what's stopping them from buying their dream home. But I'm going to tell you right now, my husband had horrible credit, okay? And he didn't ever hear about this, and I told him, you can fix your credit score if you get a secured credit card. I kid you not, he had a credit score that was like 550 or 540 or something like that because he had just really bad credit. He never really took care of his credit. A lot of people don't. Also, if you pay for cash with everything, you don't have credit, that makes you have bad credit. So all you have to do is get a secured credit card. It's super easy. It's like you pay $100 up front. You sign up for it. They give you like a $300 credit limit. Basically, what you need to do is just use this credit card, pay for gas, you know, like fill up your car, run the credit to $300, and then pay it off in full every month. So you were going to spend $300 on gas anyways. So why not spend $300 on the credit card, build your credit, show good payment history, and there you go. Now your credit score is going to go up. His credit score went up 100 points in like, I want to say like 6 months. He was able to buy a car at a car dealership because his credit score was like 670 at that point, and that's enough to qualify for a car loan. So, but the key is you have to pay it off every month, and the goal is just to build credit. Okay, this isn't for you to like make a minimum monthly payment. This is not, don't do that. If you're doing that, that's why you're gonna stay broke forever. Don't do that. You pay it off, you'll be good to go. So that's how you can get your credit score up, and that will get you closer to getting your dream house. Oh, and one other company that I highly, highly recommend, we were listening to a YouTube channel, and it was one of their sponsors. And I told Zach to go sign up for it. It's called Scoremaster. Okay, so go check out Scoremaster, and I think it's like $10 a month, but I'm not even kidding. He signed up with them, and they did something on his credit, and his credit went up another 100 points. And it was like, I was so grateful, because like literally for $10, like that helped him so much. So I highly recommend, if you're trying to get your credit figured out, go to Scoremaster. I think scoremaster.com or something. Okay. All right. The fourth thing. What's your budget? Okay? That's like super important, but you really need to know your budget. So this is going to help you get closer to your dream home if you can figure out what is it exactly that makes it your dream home. Do you have to have it? Is it just a wish, or is it a need? That really helped me figure out exactly what kind of house I needed to get within my budget. Some people you got to get your expectations to be realistic. If you have unrealistic expectations, you're basically setting yourself up to get really sad and depressed and discouraged. And I know this because I did it myself. You can't say, oh, well, this is what I want, and you can't afford that. Okay, so you're going to have to be realistic. What can you actually afford? Okay, and that's where you want to talk to a lender about what you can afford. They're going to help you figure out your debt to income ratio, but based off your credit score, obviously. But then they're going to say, well, this is how much money you're going to make, and this is how much you want to spend on a house. So you're not really going to be able to do that, or maybe you can. So you got to know your budget. Then once you know your budget, then you're going to have to sit around and look and say, all right, cool. I need to go ahead and say, I can do without an open concept kitchen. You know, what's more important? Do you want a garden? Is that the most important thing for you, is to have a garden, a place to have chickens? That's what it was for me. I want a space in my yard for my dogs. So getting a house that's really, really big but has a small yard was like not really going to make sense for me. So I said, I'll get a smaller house if I can get a bigger yard. That way I can stay within my budget. So whatever your budget is, try to push things away. Like, you know, what can you really do without? That is going to help you get your dream house on the budget that you can afford. All right. Number 5. All right. Obviously, you're going to move. You need to get rid of stuff. So that is one of the other things you need to do to get closer to your dream house, is to get rid of stuff. It's a lot to get rid of sometimes, and it's hard for a lot of people, especially, you know, someone like me who can be like, well, I just bought that. I don't want to throw that away. That's expensive. You know, you really have to get over that kind of rationale, because it makes it really hard for you to get rid of stuff. So really what you got to ask yourself is, can I replace this? Is it going to be too expensive to replace? Should I ship it? Because at the end of the day, you're paying to move your stuff. You're going to either ship it in a crate, you're going to get a U-Haul truck, which I don't recommend, and you're going to pay for all the stuff that you're bringing. So you need to figure out, what is it that you can live without? Like, can you get a new sofa? That huge sofa, that's going to cost you so much money to ship. Get rid of it, sell it, and buy a new sofa when you get here, okay? Maybe furniture. You can stack stuff up on furniture. Really, usually expensive. And, you know, dressers, bed frames, tables. I didn't get rid of that stuff. I kept that stuff, and I'm so glad that I did, because that stuff is so expensive. You know, thousands and thousands of dollars for furniture. But sofas, you can find sofas for cheap all the time. But they take up so much space. So get rid of your sofa, keep your dressers, you know, keep that stuff. Maybe get rid of your dining room table if it's cheap. You can find tables on Facebook all the time, and brand new for like under $1,000 for a beautiful new one. So there's certain things you should keep. There's certain things you should get rid of. Join a buy nothing group if you want to get rid of stuff, so you don't have to make a bazillion trips to the Goodwill. So I highly recommend joining a buy nothing group in your area, and then that way you can just post stuff to give away. People will come pick it up, or you can go give it to them, however you want to do it. I literally didn't make one trip to the Goodwill when I sold my house in Oregon, because I literally gave everything away. I either had a yard sale or I gave it away. And it was all gone, and everything else I brought with me. So I'm so grateful I did that. Saved me so much time and energy having to pack up my car. So really look through your stuff. Get rid of clothes that you haven't worn. Get rid of shoes that are old. You know, like really, really, you gotta go through everything, you guys. Don't hoard and don't hang on to stuff. This is your new life. It's your new house in Tennessee. You don't want to bring a bunch of old junk with you to your new house. Start fresh, start new. Get rid of all the old. Keep what you need. Get rid of what you don't need. Okay? All right. I hope that these things will help you get closer to buying your dream house in Tennessee, because I want to share the joy with you guys, because it's amazing. I am so happy to be here. I can't believe it's happening. And that's why I'm going to just do this Tennessee Dreaming video series, because things have just been so awesome since I've been here. I feel so happy and relieved, and it was so hard, but it's so doable, and I don't want people to get discouraged and think that they just can't do it. It's not true. So I'm going to be here to help you. If you have any questions, you can send me a message, or you can just comment, and I'll try to respond to your comments. And if you like this video, please help me out and support my work by giving it a thumbs up, sharing it with someone that you know who might find it interesting, and obviously subscribe to my channel. Duh, you already like me and you like my videos, so why aren't you subscribed to my videos? Like, come on. And hit the bell so that you know when I upload new stuff. Alright, bye guys.